Godot, and I hope that by now you would have read the drama also. Have you? Have you read the drama?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me begin with let me begin with the presentation. But before that, please switch on your videos, and we have class attendance, and then we can continue. Okay. Yeah. Now I think I can. Sejal Goyal and Ayushi Pachori, you're not visible. Yeah, it's okay. Good. Now let's begin. Okay, I begin with the presentation directly. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, now this is for the first time that you are studying American literature. This play was published in USA in 1954. Right? When did the Second World War end?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm unable to see the presentation.
I think then because others can see, that means that your network is not very good. So you can take the slides. Those who can see it, they can click the pictures of it and post later in the WhatsApp group. Right? And whatever is written over there, I'm speaking also. So you can, those who cannot see the presentation, they can listen here, and then on WhatsApp group, they can see the slides. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that is the network problem. Otherwise, you should be able to see, because others can see. So, okay. Or try changing your place. Maybe in some other corner you get proper signals. Okay. So, yeah. So this play, Waiting for Godot, it was first published in US in 1954, and it was performed in London, UK in 1955. So I was asking that when did the Second World War end?
1945.
1945.
1945.
Yes, 45, right? So within a decade, this play was written. So this play shows the effects of Second World War. Okay, so this Times literary supplement, you know, in the paper, Times paper, there comes a special section. A part of it is attached to it. It's called literary supplement. In that literary supplement, this play was called a prolonged. Some critic called it a prolonged and sustained metaphor about the nature of human life. All the literary writers who were writing during that period, they were affected by Second World War, and they were affected by, for them, you know, life seemed very questionable. It was the futility of life, that why do we come on earth, what is the purpose of it, who has sent us, why do we go away from here after a while, and during our stay here between life and death, whatever we are doing, does it have some meaning? You know, if it's just like fighting and dying for national boundaries and all. So that was, they were just wondering about the nature of human life. It is something philosophical. So Waiting for Godot is now become a kind of a metaphor also. Metaphor for what? That when someone is frustrated with life, one is depressed with life, it seems like, you know, we wait that one day all the things will be right, and that day never comes when the things are right with us. So that is Waiting for Godot. That means waiting endlessly. Right. So this is what the literary supplement of the Times said about this play. Now see, basically, this I told you that is a fine example of theater of absurd. It's an absurd drama. Now, what is absurd drama? What does this mean? Again, as I told you, that these plays, they always focus on the ideas of existentialism. When we wonder about that, why do we exist? What is the purpose of human existence? So that kind of philosophy is called existentialism. When you don't feel like connecting to anyone, you don't feel like talking to anyone. So this is quite a depressing topic. So this is what existentialism is, and absurd drama always focuses on such theme. Okay, and another point that you will see here, this play has only 2 acts. Okay, so here the story does not develop, the plot does not develop. It just seems like something is going on, but it always ends at the starting point. That means the events are not linear. The plot is not linear, plot is round. It comes back to that same starting point. So this is also one of the feature that you will notice in this drama. The play is divided into 2 acts, and the setting of the play also does not change. While we were doing drama, first section or first unit of this paper, you did Aristotle's play, Aristotle's drama, Aristotle's theory of drama. You did the 6 elements of the drama, that is character, theme, thought, right, spectacle. You must remember all these 6 points. So their setting is very important in the drama, that where the play takes place, right? So unity of time, place, action, that was very important, that within 24 hours everything should happen. Like the people should travel only to that distance which is in proportion with the time, कि इतनी देर में यहाँ तक पहुँच सकते हैं, तो ड्रामा को उतना ही दिखाना चाहिए. Now here you see that the setting remains same, setting does not change. So the play begins, it takes place on the country road under a tree, and the time is evening. So setting is also not changing, time also does not change. And there are only 5 characters, 2 main characters in the play, you may say, and in total there are only 5 characters. Okay, so that is also very limited. These 2 people, they are very elderly. That means they are not young. First is Valdemir, and in short it is called Didi. And then second character is Estrogen, and he's called Gogo. So these names also, no, Didi, Gogo, they are so absurd. They don't have any meaning. That meaningless of life is shown in their names also. Like they are searching for the meaning in life, that what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? When we have no starting point, we have no end point. If life in life, birth is the starting point and death is the end point, then between life and death, what have we achieved? You know, there's nothing to do here. So these names also, Didi, Gogo, they have got no meaning. Their names are meaningless, their life is meaningless. This is what the dramatist is trying to show. Then there is a local landowner. His name is Pozo, and he has got slave named Lucky. Now see, before independence in the old world, there was this practice of having slaves. Okay, slaves means men and women or children who were sold, just like commodity, just like some objects, some products, right? So this practice is also shown in the play. Pozo is a landowner and he has got a slave, Lucky. So here again, name is so ironical. What is luck? Having what you want to have, right? But this person does not have freedom. Everyone wants freedom. But since he is slave, he is bonded to one person. He is not free, and yet his name is Lucky. So all these names you see, they are so ironical. Didi, Gogo, Lucky, Pozo. And then there is a small messenger boy. His name is not important because he just carries message once. So when the play opens, the scene is country road, time is evening, and one character, Strugan, is sitting on a low mound near a tree. Right? Low mound means there is a kind of a platform kind of thing. Raised, you can say some raised land, and there under a tree, this person is sitting, and he's trying to take off his boots. He pulls at it with the both. These all things are described very nicely with the in the language by the dramatist. So he pulls at it with both hands. He's panting, taking his catching up his breath, and gives up the effort. He can't do that. Then he is tired. See, everything seems so dull. Countryside, no description of beautiful scenery around, but there is just a mound, there's a tree, a person is very tired, he is somewhat old, and he is this old man is trying to take off his boots, but he is very tired. So everything is so dull. There's no joy in it. Then he's tired, then he rests for a while, and again he tries it, and again he fails. So that repetition also causes dullness. A person trying to do something and he's unable to do that, again he's trying it, then again he fails. So that kind of repetition is also, it adds to the dullness of the play. Okay, the atmosphere is very dull. Just imagine how you started with King Lear, that was full of actions and all the emotions and passions, everything. Now here you just compare it, that there is no interest in life in the characters. Right? Then Valdemar, he comes there, he enters, and Estrogen says, nothing to be done. Nothing. I told you this word was so significant in King Lear, because from that comes out everything. But here this nothing is total vacuum, it's empty. He says that life is empty, there's nothing to be done. So Valdemar, he replies that he too is coming around to that opinion. He also feels that there's nothing to be done. Nothing means something that carries value. There's nothing here on this earth that carries anything, any value. Everything is valueless. Everything is of no significance. Everything is meaningless. So nothing to be done. Then these two men, they are waiting, right, for someone of the name Godot. Now, they have called Godot because they think that Godot is going to do something good for them. Okay, so they are not sure exactly what Godot will do. They don't know what they want in their life, but still they feel that someone else knows that what can be done with their life. Their life is so burdensome. So they are not sure exactly what Godot will do for them, any more than they know for certain whether they have to come, they have come to right place on that appointed day. Everything is in doubts. They occupy the time as best they can until occupy the time is they are trying to do something. They are simply passing away the time somewhere. And then it happens that the local landowner named Pozo, he comes. And actually, Pozo is going to the fair where he has to sell his slave, Lucky. There's a kind of a slave bazaar. In that slave market, all human beings are sold. So this also shows that the dehumanizing effect of the World War. Before World War also they had slaves. In ancient times, when kings and queens, they ruled or there was tribal, they had slaves. So slaves means when you dehumanize a man, when you take away freedom from, because right to live is the right that every human being on this planet should have. But here the life is controlled by some other person, and the relationship between two human beings is of master and slave. Right. So now this master is taking his slave to sell him in the market. So he is human, but he is treated as something. So again, this also adds to the purposelessness of life, meaninglessness of life. That what does a man gain to control others' life, and what it feels like to have give the control of your life to some other person. So this everything is, see, the time also is of evening. That means it is a time when sun sets, day ends. Then they are old. That means that is a time when life ends. Then a man selling other man is an end of humanity. Right? In this way, everything is at its lowest point. Hopelessness. And in this atmosphere of hopelessness, there's just a little bit of hope that this Godot will come and he will do something for these two elderly men. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then there is, while Pozo is waiting here, taking a rest from his long walk, because he has to go to that place to sell his slave to the market. So he is taking a halt. So Pozo halts a while with Strogan and Valdemir and eats a meal in their presence. Now he's not sharing meal with anyone. He opens up his meal and then even granting them the bones which his slave rejects. Right? The bones slave does not want, so that is passed on to these two men. And then in gratitude for their society, makes Lucky dance. He gives command to Lucky that he should dance. And then think aloud about for their entertainment. Whatever you are thinking, speak out in words. Again, there is an irony here that, let me read further. The three become so agitated by Lucky's intellectual performance that they all set upon him and silence him. Now, when he speaks, his words are, it's very paradoxical. They mean something. So his intellectual performance is also not liked by these people. And so he is silenced. That is the futility of life, that intelligence is silenced. Then Estragon and this Valdemir, they have not been alone many moments together before a small boy appears. He's a messenger boy. He appears with the news that Mr. Godot will not come this evening, but would come tomorrow. They have waited all the evening, and now they get this message that the meeting will be held tomorrow. The boy departs. Night falls abruptly. It happens, in evening time, अचानक ये दिन ढल जाता है ना, तो it becomes dark everywhere. And now these two men, they don't know what to do. So they think that they should commit suicide by hanging themselves from the tree. This is the limit of their desperation. Okay, they decide that they should end their life, but then finally they think that, okay, let's wait for one day more. So they decide to leave, but despite their decision to go, do not move as the curtain falls. That means there is no movement. The act begins with the two men near the tree and it ends with two men near the tree. There is no movement. So there's no progress either in action or in thoughts. The day started with hopelessness and it ends with hopelessness. There's despair, there's anguish, there's purposelessness. Right? So this was Act 1. Now, Act 2, it begins. There is a new day, but no new hopes, right? It begins with the next day, and with a scene which is identical, but what is the difference except for the fact that the tree has put forth a few leaves? There are some few leaves now. So Valdemar is joined on the stage by Estrogen again. Okay, and same things which happened in the Act 1, they are repeated. That is again dullness. Okay, Pozo and Lucky, they from the side they made the exit in Act 1. They appear. Pozo happens to have gone blind and Lucky dumb. Now this is the action that has taken place so far in the play. Again, this is very sad. Then all four collapse on top of one another, and then somehow they manage to get up again. Pozo becomes excited. This tells about the limit of what World War II had done to the Western world. They were the people who were more affected. All the countries who were involved in the Second World War had faced this and made life seem very absurd. So Pozo becomes, he's so tired of replying Valdemir's question about time, then saying furiously that life itself is not only a brief instance. Then Pozo leaves, driving Lucky before him from the side he had entered in Act 1. Then after another brief interval, the boy comes again and delivers the same message as before, that Godot is not going to come today. Then again, same repetition, sun sets, moon rises abruptly, it is night again. Okay, the two men again think that they should commit suicide. And then they decide, no, not today. And they again postpone it. Okay, and despite their agreement to leave, make no movement. This also happened last time, also in Act 1. So the play ends in which, as one critic has very wittingly put, nothing happens but twice. Whatever happened in Act 1, same thing happens in Act 2. Except for the change of Pozo and Lucky. Right? So this was all that was in the play. Now, if we think about the characterization, that how many characters are there and what do their actions, which is actually an inaction, their passivity. What does their passive state reflect? Right. This again we can analyze these characters and think about it. But what we basically see is that these characters, they appear to have lost meaning of their life, and they are just like they have not landed anywhere. They seem to be in the floating state. That means even if they are moving, they are not changing their position. They come back to that same position. Okay, and these characters, they appear to be very, you can say, very complex characters. Right? See, there are these are the 5 characters in the play. Valdemir, Estrogen, Pozo, Lucky, and the messenger boy. The 2 main characters, they come in the beginning itself, and they complement as well as supplement. Complement and supplement means they have similarity in them, and they supplement. That is why I showed you this picture. It seems like this picture. These are the characters, right? And they seem to be in this way. They seem to be fitting into one another, right? So complement and supplement. So these characters, they complement and supplement each other. Then Estrogen is preoccupied with his boots, and Valdemir is preoccupied with his hat. So they are complementing each other. They want some object where they can focus on. So estrogen has got nothing to do with his mood. Still, he's trying to remove it, and he's unable to it. He's exasperated, and so on. And Valdemar, he is also occupied with his. He is just fidgeting with his hat. Right. Then Valdemar is more intellectual and cultured, and therefore always looks for appropriate words to express himself. He has good command over language, so whatever he's thinking, he can express it. And he is intellectual because he has got some thoughts. And he is learned, this we come to know because he even speaks Latin. Latin was the language of educated people. Just like in India, you can say that Sanskrit was the language of the educated people, and Hindi was the language of common man. In the similar way, Latin was the language of learned and cultured people, and English was the language of common man. So Valdemar, he speaks Latin. This shows that he is an intellectual and he is a learned man. He is even more sensitive. He can sense the things, he feels emotional. He has got some little bit of affection still left within him. Right? And he knows how to show demonstrative. He can show his affections, he can show his emotions, he can show his thoughts. Right? He wants to hug estrogen. Now this is also very important, physical contact. After World War, people were so much disillusioned that they didn't want to be with humans. Their faith in human, their faith on the life on earth, that had all faded away. But in Valdemar, still he wants some kind of communication. So he wants that human touch. So he wants to hug a student, and he feels lonely. He wants companionship. That is the difference between. This is why it is like they supplement each other. Right. This is what we will do today, and we'll continue it in our next class. Right. And I hope that things are clear till here. You get the idea of what the play is all about.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
Yes,
when you read the play, you just can't find out the meaning, that you feel like there is nothing happening here. No one is saying anything. So the play is also like, in vacuum. Can't make out that what is actually happening in the play. But then this play should be read in the background of what had happened with humanity, with mankind during that period. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now in our next class, we shall be continuing it, and keep a check on this. Actually, in WhatsApp group, I just don't want to do this kind of setting that only admins should post there. But what happens that sometimes you post something which is not related with our classes, and for that you have another group where you can discuss other subjects also. So this here, if these things happen, then the links and the study material, all that I have shared, it becomes difficult for you to find it out. So that is why I just do this setting. Now I'm not going to do it, and participants can also post it, but please do not post anything other than the thing that is related with our English literature. This is my request. Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, and you can share the slides for those who could not see the presentation, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Have
ma'am.
a nice day. Most welcome. Thank you.